Good evening, Shabbat Shalom, and welcome. We were commenting earlier that after Labor Day, if you're still here, it's the best time to be here. You walk out into the streets, we looked around and we said, we've got our city back. You know, it's just so nice. It's really wonderful. It's nice and quiet. We went up in the mountain last week, and it's just wonderful again that you can really enjoy everything. This is the best time, but don't tell anyone. But welcome to all those that are watching us. We're back on our streaming again, and they were asking if we're streaming the High Holidays, and we are. We'll stream that live from the Vail coming up very shortly. We're going to begin with the lighting of our candles. If someone would like to light candles for us this evening, the cantor sings and you light, please.
Yeah, come light, Tess.
And Don, if that sun's getting bad, switch to. That's why everyone's sitting over here. Okay.
Baruch atah Adonai Eloheinu melech haolam asher kitshanu b'mitzvotav v'tzivanu lehadlik ner Shel Shabbat.
Thank you. May the Shabbat candles we now light inspire us to see justly and gently, look honestly and with kindness, and to see what's holy in each other. So we turn to page 4 at the bottom of the page. Hine matov. Even though you're way in the back, you can still say hello to other people by waving to us. How good and pleasant it is to be together.
And it's so wonderful that we get to share this amazing space together. So whether it's your first time here in a while, or you're here every single week, find someone to say Shabbat Shalom to or to introduce yourselves to. Hine matov u'manayim Shabbat achim gam yachad. Hine matov u'manayim Shabbat achim gam yachad. Hine matov Shabbat achim gam yachad. Hine matov Shabbat achim gam yachad. Hine matov u'manayim 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 Shabbat achim gam yachad. Hine matov yalalai yalalai. Hine matov yalalai yalalai. Hine matov u'manayim Shabbat achim gam yachad. Hine matov u'manayim Shabbat achim gam yachad.
We turn to page 8, the bottom of the page, and we'll continue responsively with our family prayer. May we never take for granted the gift of Shabbat as we sit nestled in the Rocky Mountains, sharing this humble moment with family and friends. May the satisfaction of celebrating Shabbat hearten our spirits. Let Shabbat peace bring quiet to our souls. Allow this time set aside for song and prayer to bring us closer together in thoughts and deeds. The space we share become our place of devotion, glowing with reverence and filled with our traditions, And may the end of this week encourage us to examine our actions and let us look ahead toward the new week, so we worthy of all of God's blessings. We join with the cantor Shalom Aleichem as we welcome the angels of peace.
Shalom Aleichem, Malachei Hasharet, Malachei Elyon, Mi Melech Malachei Hamlachim, HaKadosh Baruch Hu. Tzidchem l'shalom, Malachei Hashalom, Malachei Elyon, Mi Melech Malachei Hamlachim, HaKadosh Baruch Hu. Baruchuni l'shalom, Malachei Hashalom, Malachei Elyon, Mi Melech Malachei Hamlachim, HaKadosh Baruch Hu. Tzidchem l'shalom, Malachei Hashalom, Malachei Elyon, Mi Melech Malachei Hamlachim, HaKadosh Baruch Hu.
And arriving in Jerusalem, the pilgrims lifted their eyes to the mountains and cried out, "From where does my help come?" And I thought it was so interesting when we had Shimon, our tour guide, talk to us. And he said, whenever you go to Jerusalem, you always go up to Jerusalem. And it's such a spiritual high feeling to say, here we go down to Denver or somewhere else. But to go up to Jerusalem. And that's what Sinai, page 12, as we join together.
Sinai, Me'ayin Yavo Ezri. Sinai, Me'ayin Yavo Ezri. Ezri, Me'im Adonai, Oseh Shamayim Ba'aretz. Ezri, Me'im Adonai, Oseh Shamayim Va'aretz. Et Sinai el Harim, Me'ayin Yavo Ezri. Et Sinai el Harim, Me'ayin Yavo Ezri. Ezri Me'im Adonai, Oseh Shamayim Va'aretz. Ezri Me'im Adonai, Oseh Shamayim Va'aretz.
One of the things in renovating the chapel, as ugly as it looks outside now, is they were incredibly careful about protecting the stream. So everything had to change as to the way they lay out what's down below here and the other side, and that's our covenant with God. We have that reading found on page 15 responsively, and it's our responsibility to take care of everything that's around us. As we live amidst the trees, streams, and mountains of Vail, we pray for the care and healing of the earth so that the present and future generations may enjoy the fruits of creation. God made a covenant with Abraham and Sarah, blessing them and their descendants throughout the generations. We teach our children to love Judaism, to honor and carry on our traditions, the laws of the Torah, so our legacy may continue. Moses and the chosen people, to all generations, giving our people the 10 Commandments and challenging us to choose a life of goodness. And may each day be filled with kindness, honesty, integrity, and righteous acts, so we remain filled with the promise of these covenants. Page 16, we turn to the page at the top of the page as we welcome the Sabbath bride and join with the cantor.
Lecha dodi likrat kalai, alalai, 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 b'nei Shabbat nekabela. Lecha dodi likrat kalai, alalai, 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 b'nei Shabbat nekabela. Shamor v'zachor v'ribor echad, Hishmianu el hamiuchad. Adonai echad, Ushmo Shemo Tiferet Velitchila.
Try it together.
Lecha Dodi Likrat Kala Yalala 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 B'nei Shabbat Nekabela. Lecha Dodi Likrat Kala Yalala 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 B'nei Shabbat Nekabela. Likrat Shabbat Lechu V'nilcha Ki hi Mekor HaDeracha Merosh Mikerem Nesucha Sof Ma'aseh B'machshevat Chila Lecha Dodi Likrat Kala Yalala 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 B'nei Shabbat Nekabela. Lecha Dodi Likrat Kala Yalala 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 B'nei Shabbat Nekabela. Mikdash Melech Irmelcha Kumitzim Etzacha Hafeicha Ravlach Shevet Be'emek Havacha Ehu Yachmol Alayich Alayich Chancha Lecha Dodi Likrat Kala Yalala 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 B'nei Shabbat Nekabela. Lecha Dodi Likrat Kala Yalala 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 B'nei Shabbat Nekabela.
At the bottom of page 18, we rise, face the rear of the sanctuary as we greet the Sabbath bride.
Bo'iveh Shalom Ateret Pala Gam Besimcha Ubetzahara Tochem Unei Am Segula Bo'ikala Bo'ikala Lecha Dodi Likrat Kala Yalala 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 B'nei Shabbat Nekabela. Lecha Dodi Likrat Kala Yalala 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 B'nei Shabbat Nekabela.
You may be seated as we continue the top of page 21 with Psalm 92, the psalm which was first chanted in the temple in Jerusalem, welcoming the Sabbath. It is good to give thanks to you, O Lord, to praise your name through song, to speak in the morning of your loving kindness, your faithfulness each night, music of the lute and the harp, the melody of the lyre. I'll sing with my delight as we continue at the bottom of page 20.
Katamar Yifrach Ke'erez Bavanon Yitzyen Shetuvim Beveit Adonai Bechatzrot Eloheinu Yafrichu Od Yenuvon B'Seva B'Shenim B'Ra'ananim Yihiu Lehagi Ki Yashar Adonai Suri Lelav Latavo.
And then visiting us from San Diego, from Del Mar, if I give you a reading, you send me back some Milton's bread. Okay. We have a reading on page 23, the top of the page, just for today, taken from the Boston Globe. And it's Joel and Rochelle, or?
Joel and Shelley.
Shelley.
Can you believe it? Joel and Shelley.
I know, it's the same thing. If you'd lead us responsibly.
Just for today, I will live one day only, forgetting yesterday and tomorrow, and not trying to solve the whole problem of life all at once.
Just for today, I'll be unafraid of life and death. unafraid to enjoy the beautiful and be happy. People who are as happy as they make up their minds to be.
Just for today, I will adjust myself to what is, and not try to adjust everything to suit me. If I cannot have what I like, I will try to like what I have.
Just for today, I'll be agreeable, cheerful, charitable, do my best to praise people for what they can do, not criticize them for what they cannot do. And if I find fault, I'll forgive it and forget it. I'll try not to improve nor regulate anybody except myself.
Just for today, I will have a plan. I may not follow it exactly, but I will have one. It will save me from worry, hurry, and indecision.
Just for today, I'll get people off my nerves and not get on theirs. I'll appreciate them for what they do and what they are.
Just for today, I will not show it if my feelings are hurt.
Just for today, I'll find a little time for quiet, to relax, realize what life is and can be. Time to think about God and get a better perspective of myself.
Just for today, I will look at life with fresh eyes and discover the wonder of it. I will know that as I give to the world, so the world will give to me.
Thank you. We have a guest artist? No?
Not quite yet.
Almost. We rise for the call to worship as we join together in the Baruch Hu. Thank you.
Yai la 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 la. Yai la 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 la. Yai la 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 la. Yai la 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 la. Yai la 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 la. Yai la 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 la. Yai la 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 la. Yai la 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 la. Baruch Hu et Adonai HaMevorach. Baruch Adonai HaMevorach. HaMevorach Le'olam Vaed. HaMevorach, HaMevorach Le'olam Vaed.
May be seated. The author of our prayer at the top of page 28, we think is taken from the words of Moses and Joshua, made over 3,000 years ago, but it's still relevant today. When there's darkness, we pray that God provides protection until the sun rises once again in the morning. We join with the cantor, Ahavat Olam.
Ahavat Olam, Beit Yisrael, Amcha Avta, Amcha Avta. Torah u'mitzvot, chukim u'mishpatim, otanu lemadeta, otanu lemadeta. Alkeinu Adonai Eloheinu b'shochvenu, u'kumenu nasiach b'chukecha, v'nismach b'divrei Toratecha, u'mitzvotecha le'olam vaed. Ki hem chayenu, ve'orech yameinu, u'bahem nekeh yomam v'layla, nekeh yomam v'layla. Ve'ahavatcha al tasir, mimenu le'olamim. Baruch atah Adonai, ohev amo Yisrael, ohev amo Yisrael.
now we have some guest artists?
Now we have some guest stars. Tess and Spencer, if you want to come up, you can help lead the Shematu. And Ziva and Maya and Lila. I know, surprise.
Just a second.
But you can handle it.
Second. Come on up in the steps so we can see you. You're going to teach them how.
Tess and Spencer's B'nai Mitzvah is coming up in just a few weeks, so we're so excited. Sorry, bump your head. Your first time getting a chance to lead some things.
Shema Yisrael, Adonai Eloheinu, Adonai Echad, Baruch Shem Kevod, Mahuto,
Ed.
I think you guys are ready. We could just do it tomorrow.
Okay. As we continue.
ואהבת את אדוני אלוהיך בכל לבבך ובכל נפשך ובכל מאודך והיו הדברים האלה אשר אנוכי מצווך היום על לבבך ושיננתם לבניך ודיברת בם בשבתך בביתך ובלכתך בדרך ובשכבך ובקומך וקשרתם לאות על ידך והיו לטוטפות בין עיניך וכתבתם על מזוזות ביתך ובישעריך למען תזכרו ועשיתם את כל מצוותיי והייתם קדושים לאלוהיכם אני אדוני אלוהיכם אשר הוצאתי אתכם מארץ מצרים להיות לכם לאלוהים אני אדוני אלוהיכם.
Well, we might think that the cantor is on roller skates where she's traveling everywhere and coming back from somewhere. And she was just in New York at a wedding, but it was a wedding with singers and rabbis.
It was amazing. So I was marrying my friend Alexis, who's a rabbi, and her now wife Jamie. And pretty much at least half of the people in the room were all like professional Jewish musicians. And so it was like, of course, the most beautiful ceremony that and I told the officiant Shira, who's also a friend of mine, I said, this is the most beautiful ceremony that I've ever been to, and most of the ceremonies that I've been to, I'm leading. So that's really...
Well, we've got Micha Mocha on page 32, and I'm going to leave it up to you as to what tune you're going to do.
All right. Micha Mocha va'elim Adonai, Micha Mocha neder b'kodesh, Nora tehilot osefele, Nora tehilot osefele.
On this Shabbat evening, we seek peace and comfort, shield us from hatred and destruction that plague so many corners of the world. Console those in need. At the top of page 34 as we join together, Hashkivenu.
Hashkivenu Adonai Eloheinu l'shalom v'hamidenu malkeinu l'chaim. Hashkivenu Adonai Eloheinu l'shalom v'hamidenu malkeinu l'chaim. Ushor tzeitzenu uvoenu lechaim u'shalom ve'ata ve'ad olam. Hashkivenu Adonai Eloheinu l'shalom v'hamidenu malkeinu l'chaim. Hashkivenu Adonai
As we read in the book of Exodus, in 6 days the Lord created the heavens and the earth. The seventh day he ceased from his work and rested. At the bottom of page 36 of the Shamaru.
Shamru, Bnei Israel, et HaShabbat, La'asot et HaShabbat, V'dorotam berit olam. V'shamru, Bnei Israel, et HaShabbat, La'asot et HaShabbat, V'dorotam berit olam. B'nei Yisrael, Oti le'olam, Oti le'olam. V'shamru b'nei Yisrael et HaShabbat, la'asot et HaShabbat, l'dorotam berit olam. Ki sheshet yamim asa Adonai, Asa Adonai et hashamayim ve'et ha'aretz. V'shamru b'nei Yisrael et HaShabbat, la'asot et HaShabbat, l'dorotam berit olam. U'vayom hashvi Shabbat vayinafash, Shabbat vayinafash, Shabbat vayinafash. V'shamru b'nei Yisrael et HaShabbat, la'asot et HaShabbat, l'dorotam berit olam. V'shamru b'nei Yisrael et HaShabbat, la'asot et HaShabbat, l'dorotam berit olam.
Well, there are those in our community who are in need of healing of body, mind, or spirit. If you have a loved one or person in your life in need of healing, please feel free just a moment to share their name aloud as we move about the sanctuary. Page 38 at the top of the page as we join with the cantor, Misha Berach. We send our prayers to Gail Balin, Sue Beiser, Linda Colin, Blanche Deutsch, Lynn Deutschman, Carol Ann Finn, Jane Friedman and Steve Friedman, Gail Gerber, Deborah Goldman, Cliff Goldman, Jeff Goldsmith, Dylan Hansen, Mike Herman, Ken Imler, Donald Jaffe, Warren Janowitz, and Mary Sue Katz, Skip Clowens, Herman Keek, Brian Kushner, Renee Levine, Rabbi Sue Levy, Charlie Levy, Renee Myers, Stephen Reese, Chip Ruth, Roberta Scheller, Sam Schwartz, Bernie Shavitz, Ann Sheldon, Bill Silvers, Dina Stempler, Maury Strauss, Susie Talley, Alan Tenenbaum, Soba Weinstock, Tubby Wellens, Goldie Wetcher, and Mickey Winokur.
Those in need of healing with refuah and let us say, Amen.
Turn to page 40 in our prayer books and rise as we continue with the Reader's Kaddish.
Yitkadav yitkadash shemei rabah Yamad yivra kirtei v'yamlich malchutei
V'chayechon v'yomechon uv'chayedecho Beit Yisrael Bagala bagala uv'izman kariv
V'yimeru
Amen. Yesh me'rava mevarach Amla me'omaya Yitzbarach
Yitzbarach v'yishtabach Yitzbar v'yitramam v'yitnaseh v'yitazar v'yitaleh v'yitalal Shemei d'kudsha
Brichu
Le'ela min kol birchata v'shirata
Tushbechata v'nechemata Damihiran b'yalma
V'yimeru
Amen. Eternal God, open my lips that my mouth may declare your glory. The top of page 42 as we join together.
Adonai satai tiftach ufi yagid tehilatecha Adonai satai tiftach ufi yagid tehilatecha Oh, eternal God, open my lips. Let my mouth may declare your glory. Oh, eternal God, open my lips. Let my mouth may declare your glory. Adonai satai tiftach ufi yagid tehilatecha Adonai satai tiftach ufi yagid tehilatecha.
We'll continue silently through page 57. may be seated when you've completed the Amida. Let there be peace in the world, goodness and blessing, grace, kindness, and compassion for us and for all of Israel. The cantor continues the bottom of page 54 with our prayer for peace. Sim Shalom.
Shalom Tova Uvracha. Sim Shalom Tova Uvracha. Sim Shalom Tova Uvracha. Sim Shalom Tova Uvracha. Chen v'chesed, chen v'chesed v'rachamim. Chen v'chesed, chen v'chesed v'rachamim aleinu. Sim shalom tova uvracha. Sim shalom tova uvracha. Sim shalom tova uvracha. Sim shalom tova uvracha.
Well, this is the time of the year when the cantor and I begin pouring through the High Holy Day prayer book. Not that it's unusual to see what's there because it was there last year, but we still have to look over some of the prayers as she's preparing her little musical group and choir, and we're trying to adjust to a new place like the Vail, which is going to be gorgeous for services. But sometimes on Shabbat I look out upon a sea of faces and sometimes wonder, why are we here? What draws everybody into our service on Shabbat? I think for some, and for me, it's a nostalgic feeling. I know when I would visit other places around the world. But there's also, I think, a moment or a desire for just doing something a little bit different in our lives. Now, we're blessed in so many ways, especially when we're living here with all that surrounds us. But Irving Berlin, he wrote it, and Bing Crosby sang it to Rosemary Clooney, and it was absolutely perfect when they said, "When I'm worried and cannot sleep, I count my blessings instead of sheep. I fall asleep counting my blessings." I think that's really what it is when we're here. But still, it's human nature, and we complain. We notice sometimes a little too often what's lacking and rather than what's in front of us. And there's so much good within our lives that I think we have to take that moment and just be happy with what we've got. Well, this month, before the holidays, our prayers are asking us, during the month of Elul, we're told if we're dissatisfied, we have to strive to become better. If we're dissatisfied with our work, try to improve or change what you're doing within work. If you're dissatisfied with a disease, we pray for the doctors and scientists, find us a cure. Well, we learn to distinguish between what we can and cannot do, and that's really what is the lesson of the holidays. Those things which can't be changed, we can only create misery for ourselves when we allow ourselves to worry over what can't be changed. So we can do probably, I think, what all the other generations have done before us for thousands of years now, and that is they pray. And there's so many different forms of prayer. I think it's hard to ask for what we want. That hasn't been our style. To express our needs or our concerns, that's more according to the Jewish tradition. So here I ask that you just feel it. I know when we come for these moments, you feel it inside of you and allow that prayer to enter into you. Now, those who have come before us, well, they provided those guideposts along the way. Each time we gather as a congregation, we have a chance for reflection, meditation on the teachings. For some of us, I know that prayer still doesn't come easy. So all you have to do, I think, is turn on the news any night. It doesn't matter when it is. And the world is just full of suffering, and none of us can escape the pain. Many of us experience tragedies, and that's just part of who we are. But I think, and why we're here tonight, just for these precious 60 minutes that we get to share. 60 minutes, whether you're religious or not religious, we need to find some way to find out why or when bad things happen to good people, and we get to think about it and pray over this. There's the Yiddish saying, and I've often repeated it. I'm not going to say it in Yiddish, but it's too good in English. It says, you cannot prevent the bird of sorrow from flying over your head, but you can prevent them from building a nest in your hair. Well, one of my rabbinical school teachers, I think, must have lived in the mountains like ours, because he said to us in a class, he said, when I pray, I speak to God. And when I close my eyes and I'm at peace, God speaks to me. So Maimonides, the great philosopher, said that when you pour out your heart, it just feels lighter. And when you're done praying, you think of these words, pray as if everything depends upon God, but act as if everything depends upon you. Prayer in Judaism is important, we know that, but it doesn't replace our responsibility to act and to change this world. So what is it that prevents us from having that quiet moment? The fine art, I think, of knowing how to let go. And we'll talk more about that during the holidays. Learning how to be at peace with ourselves. Sometimes we just have to say, I'm going to let it go. And we have to accept the imperfection of our own and even that of others. So as we lead up to these high holidays, we understand that forgiveness is for, I think, many of us, one of the greatest spiritual challenges of our lives. None of us is perfect. We all require a little kindness, certainly some understanding. Still, we need to forgive ourselves just as much as we forgive others. While our rabbis said the four holiest words in the English language is, I may be wrong. And that's certainly the lesson of our holidays to come. Well, we have this gorgeous, beautiful bulletin that Janet does every week for us. And you'll notice the font is getting smaller and smaller on the back as we have more and more people that are joining our membership, which is wonderful. Is it 10 point now? We're going down to 9. Next week, there's only one spot left. So it's wonderful to see so many of you participating and being with us. And, of course, with the holidays coming, for those of you that are going home, enjoy your services there or come watch us as we stream our services for all of you. We've been scouting out what to do and where to be, and we just looked at the covered bridge in Beaver Creek for our Tashlach service. It should be great, a wonderful spot. And then, of course, the services should be beautiful. I know you're preparing your little group.
Yeah, we just had our walkthrough last week of the Vail to get to see all the behind the scenes, everything that's going on there. We're really excited. We're also very excited to be using their gorgeous concert grand piano in our service. Usually we'll bring a keyboard, or we've used this in here, but they have a really, really I was telling my piano player, I said, hey, will this piano work for you? And he said, will that work for me? If that's like the best piano out there, I'm excited to be playing that. So we're using that. Just yesterday, I don't even know what time. My piano player lives in Glenwood. My strings are all in Denver. And here I am in the middle in Vail. And so I don't even know what time he left his house. But I left at 6 yesterday morning to go drive to Denver and rehearse all day with the High Holiday musicians. They are incredible as always. We have some new pieces this year. And another new thing this year is that we're having a younger children's service. We usually have sort of a child care that has Rosh Hashanah activities, but this will actually be a service at the Edwards Interfaith Chapel on the first day of Rosh Hashanah that will be taking place at Edwards. So look out in your email for more information about that.
And the sound should be pretty good at the Valar. We're not too worried. And we have a book, the last book Havurah that's going to be in person is taking place on the 21st of September at Susan and Gordon Coburn's house. It's an amazing book, A Simple Guide to the Most Misunderstood Country on the Earth. If you've never heard her speak, Noah Tishby, check her out on YouTube. She's incredible. I think she's so good because she's an actress, but also the way she wrote, it's so clear that if you're wondering anything about Israel, it's worth coming by. It's limited in numbers as to who can come because we're in one's home. But if you do sign up online, it should be a wonderful time to be there. It was also interesting. In 1981, when I was working at the Westminster Synagogue at the top floor fixing the Torah scrolls from Czechoslovakia at that time, and there were 1,600 and something Torahs that we would pull down and fix. Rabbi Friedlander, who was the rabbi of that synagogue, and also overseeing the project with Ruth Schaffer, who was the head of the project. Her father was Shalom Ash, the famous Yiddishist. And he came and he said, let's go look at the scrolls. It's just walls of Torahs with 1,600 Torahs. Let's pull one down. We have to make this fit for a queen. And I thought, it's an odd comment. So we found a nice one. It was about this tall, still in good shape, but it had to be cleaned and sewn and all that. And when you look now in the articles about the queen who just passed away, it shows the Torah that he presented to her from the collection from Prague. And it says it was fixed and repaired by an unknown scribe. There goes my 15 minutes of fame. But it's part of her museum that they have at Buckingham Palace and at Windsor. And it's pretty amazing and how good she was to the Jewish people. We really think about all the things that she did for Israel and for the Jewish people as well.
And please, Rabbi Newman and I are here for you as well, 24/7. If you have a simcha or anything that you ever want to share with us, please don't hesitate to call or email us, and we're here to help guide you in whatever way we can.
Just because you're away doesn't mean you can't pick up the phone.
You still have us.
Right.
We're still here.
Let's return in our prayer books to page 60. At the top of the page, we'll rise for Aleinu. That's good.
Aleinu l'shabeach la'adon hakol, la'teit gedula le'yotzer bereshit, shalot anu kiroye haratzot, ve'lo samanu k'mishpechot ha'adama, shalot sam chalkeinu kahem, ve'gor aleinu kechol hamonam, va'anachnu korim, u'mishtachavim u'modim, Lifnei melech malchei hamlachim hakadosh baruch hu v'ne'emar v'haya Adonai lemelech al kol ha'aretz bayom hahu yeh Adonai echad u'shemo U'shemo echad.
At this moment, in memory of our loved ones who are no longer with us, we join hands in love and remembrance because a link has been broken, the chain that bound us together. Strong bonds of home and love hold us one to another. In solemn testimony to that unbroken faith which links the generations one to another, we call to mind those whose yahrzeit we observe this month. Stephen Adocchio, Max Beldick, Harold Berger, Donald Berger, Pinya Bobro, Jules Bronstein, Ralph Cerny, Helen Cohn, Martin Colton, Harold Daskin, Michael Deutschman, Israel Azursky, Ida Finkelstein, Beatrice Fox, Herbert Friedman, Rosalind Friedman, Alan Frummer, Max Gelfand, Harry Gerson, Florence Goldstein, Bessie Goldstein, and Stella Gordon, Jacob Green, Roma Green, Louis Albert, Mary Ellen Hape, Harris Herman, Greg Honzo, David Jadwin, Linda Kahn, Soramimi Kalilishkun, Lily Kaplan, Arthur Kleinstein, Kitty Kaplovic, Grace Cooper-Smith, Mildred Kern-Bloom, Sidney Ladd, Dr. Stanley Allen Leonard, and Paul Lessing, Leonard Levinstein, Emil Levitch, Frankie Levitch, Marvin Lichter, Stanley Miller, Bernard Minko, George Molina, Louis Neperant, Eugene Parr, Bernard Pocker, Leonard Pockross, Milton Podrat, Nancy Polishuk, Aileen Putterman, Frida Ratner-Meyer, and Nathan Reichman, Leo Rosen, Rosalind Ross, Melvin D. Sachs, Erwin Schwabe, Lenore Shapiro, Marilyn Shavelson, Fern Shear, Martin Spector, Milton Spiro, Thomas Stokeful, Sr. and Richard Swig, Edith Swirsky, Joseph Tile, Joseph Weinstein, Lauren Weinzimmer, Mildred Weiss, Max Wellens, Gabriel Wolof, Franz Zaleski, Izzy Zalkin, George Newman, and Fritz Metzel. If anyone else is observing Yahrzeit this month.